Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. Oh, it's been a while since we've done that, right? Anyways, today I have a Veteran Lynx next to me, and today I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know how to set up your Veteran or Leaperkim wheel. So without any further ado, let me tell you more about it. So first, a little overview of the video. At the start, I'm going to tell you what to do when you get this thing out of the box, how to exit transport mode. I'll tell you how to charge it correctly, so you use the EUC properly and you increase the battery cycle life or battery lifespan. Later on, I'm going to tell you about the display, first about the main menu, what sort of numbers you see there. Then we'll go into the advanced settings and what those mean. And afterwards, I'm also going to show you the advanced screen. Now, this is a screen you probably won't need in your day-to-day use of the wheel, but sometimes Leaperkim, if something is wrong, might ask you about certain values that you see there, so I'm going to tell you how to access this as well. Then I'm going to tell you about the app and what you can see there. Some of the features are available both through the app and the screen, and it is a little bit confusing because not everything is available through both. So I'm going to tell you just briefly how the app looks like and what you can set up there. And because this is also like a full setup guide, I'm also going to tell you how to set up the... Oh, come on, get out of here. Why are you so stuck? Why are you so stubborn? Pick always comes in handy. Boom. I'm going to tell you how to set up the suspension and what the individual knobs and screws mean. And then I'm also going to tell you about the tire pressure, a couple of basic things you need to know there. So this will be sort of the full setup of the Veteran wheel, in this case the Veteran Lynx. But before we get into that, I also need to touch upon the situation in Palestine, in Gaza and the West Bank. The last 6 months were so extreme for the Palestinian people there. The civilians, already 30,000 people killed. It's crazy, really, and it's so violent and sad. And most of those people killed are civilians and women and children. The Israeli army destroyed every university they had, a lot of critical infrastructure. I mean, it's really horrid what's happening there. And I support a free Palestine. And of course, there's been protests happening for the past 6 months and even longer than that. But now the student protests in the US are getting stronger. And I applaud the bravery of the students for doing that. So stay strong and free Palestine, free Gaza, and let's get on with the video. All right, so when you get your wheel out of the box, you will notice that it doesn't turn on. And this is transport mode. So this is just a mode so the wheel doesn't turn on by itself in the box and cause havoc in the box. So then, yeah, I guess if it would turn on, that will be a boxing match. Okay, never mind. That's a bad joke. So what you want to do, there's two methods to go out of transport mode. First, I'll show you the easier one, and I believe this is not available on all of the Veteran wheels. So I believe it's just in the newer ones with the newest software, like the Lynx, Patent, Sherman S, but I've just tried it out here on the Lynx. So you want to press the lower right button here, the power button, and wait until it goes to 10 and let go at 10. And now the wheel is on and it is balancing. So I'll go back into transport mode and I'll show you the second way of doing it. So the second way to go about it is you take the stock charger that comes with your wheel and you just plug it in. So just to show you, the wheel is in transport mode right now, doesn't turn on. And then you get the cover off. Charger is already connected to the wall outlet, that's important. First to the outlet, then to the port. Then you look where this small ridge is, it's here, and you connect it to the wheel. It'll start charging. And you deconnect it or disconnect it. And the wheel is on. So this also works with every Veteran wheel. One thing that is a bit weird with those wheels is that if you plug in the charger just really shortly, it might turn on. Let me see if that still works. I think that's a bug at Veteran. So let's see, just really shortly plugging in. Yeah, see, it turns on just by very short plugging in and unplugging off the cable. So don't do that, because then if it's in a weird position, it might just burn your carpet or something. Veteran needs to fix that. It can't just turn on by plugging in the cable. And that is with every Veteran wheel. Boom. Super frustrating. So how do you charge this thing? Well, if you take your charger out, this is the stock charger that comes with the wheel. And I believe Leaperkim only recommends to use the stock charger, so you can use 2 of those because this wheel has 2 ports. However, I'm also going to show you which fast charger I recommend for this wheel. So with the stock charger, it's very simple. There's a green light, which means that it's operational, and there's a fan which kicks in once it's connected. If you wouldn't hear the fan going when the wheel is charging, that means there's something wrong with the charger, or if you hear like vibrations or like a weird buzzing sound, it's probably the radiator, the ventilator here is broken, or the fan, and needs to be fixed. First, connect the charger to your wall outlet, and then the light will turn green, and then connect it to the wheel, and hear a beep, and then it starts charging. So this is a pretty quick charger, but every Veteran wheel has a different charger. But what you want to do is you don't want to charge the wheel to 100% every time. So for lithium-ion batteries, it's best to just have them between 20% and 80%. So that's the best way to sort of get the most out of the battery that is inside of the wheel. For me, I charge them to 100% because I need the performance, I need the range. But there is one caveat that you need to know about with the Veteran Lynx and also Veteran wheels. So those wheels, and at least at the time of recording this video, overcharge by factory. And this is not good for the battery, and it needs to be fixed by the manufacturer ASAP. Listen to me, Leaperkim. But before that happens, I can tell you what to do in order not to overcharge the wheel. So depending on the Veteran wheel you have, there's a different top charging voltage where the wheel is 100% full. With the Veteran Sherman wheel, Sherman OG, Sherman Max, and Sherman S, the top maximum voltage is 100.8 volts. With the Veteran Patton, it's 126 volts. With the Veteran Lynx, it's 151.2 volts. So how do you know when to stop charging? Well, there's a couple ways to go about it. The simplest way, that doesn't require any accessories, is just to use the stock charger. And once it starts kicking in the fan and then turning it off, it means that it's close to full. So then you can just unplug it. It will be like very, very simple way to do it. The second way to check if you reached your peak voltage is to look at the screen when charging the wheel. So here you'll press the top left button and go to voltage, V. You can see it's 150.9, and it will also drop once I disconnect the charger, because there's sag. See, also about 150. We can check it now, how much it was. Now it's 149.7. I think you don't need much more, maybe like go up to 151.2, but not above that voltage. Now there is also a way to set up the charger to have the correct output on those pins, and there's a video on YouTube, I believe, that describes what to do. But if you like tinkering, you can open up the charger, and then there is a dial inside that you need to twist until you see that those pins, like this one and this one, put in a voltage meter into it, they reach 151.2, because as stock is probably around 151.6 to 152. So the most important thing is that when the wheel is stationary and not charging, the voltage doesn't exceed its maximum voltage, the full charge. And now every once in a while, maybe every 5 rides, every 10 rides, it's good to charge it to its full capacity, 100%, just in order for the cells to balance inside. But for the longest lifespan, just ride your EUC between those 20 to 80%. Now I still usually go to 95 and even above, and it's still fine, but I'm just telling you so you know. And a small caveat with the over voltage alarm is that if you charge the wheel to full, to 100%, and then you go down a hill, it will start beeping at you, because when you brake, you can't charge it anymore because it's already full. So if you live for some reason up a mountain and the first thing you do is ride down from it, then it will lift your pedals up. So if the first thing you do is braking hard or going down a slope, then just don't charge the wheel to 100% because you'll get this over voltage alarm and tilt back. Now, if you want to have this process a little bit more automated and a bit more seamless, you can get one of those. This is the PIDZOOM charger enhancer, I guess what it's called. And how it works, I just have it connected to my Big O charger right now because this is up to 140 volts and they just released a version up to 200 volts which will work with this wheel. So here in this charger enhancer, you can set up the maximum voltage that is allowed and then it will just stop charging if this voltage is reached. So 150, 151, whatever you want. So this is a very simple way to make your not smart charger smart. It's sort of, this is the brain. This is a pee-pee. Big pee-pee, small brain. So this is one way to go about it. There's also the site linked below and there's a coupon code wrongway for 5% off. And if you want to go fully sort of integrated, you can get one of those. So this is the PIDZOOM Smart Charger. It goes from 80 to 170 volts, so even the ET Max will work with it. And then you can set your maximum voltage here in the front. I mean, there's a knob at the back, and then you just go to 151. Okay, it's at 150, so that's good enough. You can connect it to pretty much any wheel and a back, and then you have different plugs at the end that you can just switch out. So here I have the pins for the Veteran Lynx. So what you want to do is first plug one of them in. You can check if there's any charging current. Okay, there's a charging current, so you can plug in the second one. If you charge at a high rate, I would say above 10 amps, select the voltage with this knob. And so, I mean, that's not when you have the EUC connected, before you connect to the EUC. And then here you can set up the amps. So right now I can't do more because it's already finishing charging. I can do less. So you can see how that changes. It's not that loud. It's about 250 bucks. The coupon code works as well. So if you want to have a very cool adjustable charger, I mean, it weighs a bit. I guess it's around 1.5 kilos. But yeah, that's the quickest way to charge up your wheel. And no worries. If you would select too much amps, the wheel would automatically shut down the charging. So no worries with that. Very cool. Thanks PIDZOOM for sending me this over. All right, so now let's go through all of the menus we have on this wheel. First up, there's 4 buttons on each corner. The top button toggles through this menu and also resets the trip odometer. I'll show you how to do that. The bottom left button is the OK button, and when you hold it, you go into the advanced menus, and you can also change parameters with this button. The top right button is the front light button, and if you press it shortly, the front light turns on, and if you hold it, depending on the model you have, you can also turn on additional lighting. Like on the Sherman Max, you can turn on the strobe light you have in the front. The bottom right button, if you long press it, you turn on and off the wheel, but if you short press it, you turn on and off the taillight. So now I'll tell you what's on this main screen. Here we have the speed, here you have the battery readout, here you have the trip odometer, and you reset it by pressing and holding this top left button until you hear those 3 beeps. Here you can see which mode you're riding in. It's strong. It doesn't really matter so much anymore because now there's a slider instead of 3 modes on the wheels, but hey, it's still a remnant of how the software used to look like before. And so now let's go through all of the menus or parameters on the main screen. Just toggle with this button. This is the total mileage. This is the temperature of the motherboard. For some reason, mine is always very cold, minus 29 degrees. It's a bug here. Yours should be all right. And you can also check it on the app. And usually it's different there, which is weird. Let me know if yours is the same on the screen and on the app. Here you can see it's 33 degrees. Here it is, 29.8, minus 29.8. Up to like 70 degrees or 65 degrees, no issues at all. Sadly, no motor temperature sensor. Here you can see the voltage. The voltage will go up to maximum or the lowest, depending on your battery state. So on the Lynx, the top voltage is 151.2 and the lowest one is 108 volts. So then it's pretty much fully discharged. On the Patton, it's 126 down to 90 volts. And on the Sherman Max, Sherman S, Sherman and Abrams, it's 100.8, the top voltage, and the minimum is 72. And remember that with all of those wheels, the lower your battery state, the less performance you'll have, because the battery always sags, and with less voltage times amps, which is the power, you will have just less power available. So with 100% down to 80 or 70%, I would say that that's the sweet spot. But below 50%, you will just have a lot less torque available and less, especially top speed. Like the top speed is the biggest difference. So keep that in mind. Don't do any speed runs at a low battery state, I don't know, below 50 or 40%, or just keep it in mind that the beeps or the tilt back, because of the power draw, might kick in earlier than with a full battery state. So then we have the amp readout. If you accelerate, this number will go higher. Not really necessary at all. Then you have the volt amps, which is watts. Kind of clever to use the V and the A instead of putting another W here. And then you have the distance again. So pretty simple menu. Everything is very readable. So now let's go into the advanced menu. So then you press and hold the OK button. And here you have percent. And percent is how stiff the pedals are. So how much the wheel leans forward and back when you accelerate. And this setting is much easier to set up in the app. So then if you go into the app, connect to the wheel, then you press settings, and then you have ride mode, and then you have just the slider. Super easy. So don't set it up in the wheel, just set it up in the app. But if you do want to do it in the wheel, just set whatever parameter you want, and then wait, and after like 5 to 10 seconds, the screen will shut off, and this means that your choice has been confirmed. So let's just wait a second. Yeah, now it's confirmed. So if you would go back into the menu, you can see it's at 6%. And you can also just like toggle for everything, change here, and then go for the next menu, and then leave it be, and it will save the settings for you. So this is sort of the confirmation at Leaperkim. The stronger the pedal response, so the closer to 100% or just set it up to strong, the more reactive the wheel will be. So you just lean and it translates directly into acceleration or braking. So if you want to get the most performance out of your wheel, set it to hard mode. Now, if you find that you're not that comfortable on the wheel or you need to push it too much in order to accelerate, then choose medium settings or soft settings, because the wheel will tilt when you accelerate, and therefore there's more weight in front of the axle, so it'll be easier to just accelerate. Now there's, different schools of riding when it comes to which mode you're in. I made a separate video about that, so dive into that if you want to see what's about those riding modes, because that deserves its own video. The next setting is pedal adjustment angle, PAA. So this, again, much easier to do in the app. You can toggle it with the OK button, but just go to the app, set horizontal fine adjustment, and then you can toggle it as well, front and back. I think up to like 20 degrees. But yeah, just toggle it, and then the wheel will tilt forward or back. Usually for off-road settings, I have it tilted up so that my toes are higher than my heels, 2 degrees. If you find that it's too difficult to accelerate with the wheel, then you can lean it forward. But then it will be tougher to brake. So usually I just advise to go at 0 and leave it be. So the next setting is the overspeed tilt back, and this is sort of your maximum speed that you can reach on the wheel before the pedals will tilt up. So when you reach 60 kilometers an hour, the wheel will force you sort of to brake. And this is just available via the screen, not through the app. Kind of annoying. So I have it set up to 60 kilometers an hour. You can set it up all the way to whatever. Let's see. I think 280, 100, 200. Yeah, 200. So if you have set it up to 200, it's essentially off. You will never get tilt back. And this is sometimes even useful on jumps, because tilt back also works in the air. So then we have the overspeed. It's the same name, tilt back, but this is actually the PWM. This is how much power the motherboard and motor draws according to the battery availability, how much the battery is being used in conjunction with the power. If you want to play it safe, I just set it up to, as is it here, 75%. So I will have tilt back if I go over the threshold, so I won't face plant. I can also set it up higher if you want to use the wheel in a more extreme manner, but I just have it at 75 and I'm fine. You can also just set it to 100 and then you'll never get tilt back. So then we have the overspeed alarm. So if you go over this speed, then it will beep at you. I have it at 65. You can also set all of those measures in different units and miles. So this is also available for the app. So the next setting is just the brightness of the screen. Use whatever you want. You can set it at 100%. This is calibration of the wheel. So it's a bit of a more complicated process. I'll show it once I get the wheel off of the stand. So we go into level and you want to have the wheel really sort of straight up. I just do it by feel right now because I don't have the time really to lean it against something and put a measuring device on top of it. So what I usually just do is I go into the level setting and I press OK, and then you see it disables. So you want to have it very leveled at this point. You press it again, and then and now it's calibrated. And now the important thing is if you go and quickly turn it to the left and to the right, the pedals should stay flat. And if they do, then it means that your wheel is properly calibrated. Also, if you go into turns, you turn left, the pedals go down, and then the other direction they go up, then you need to calibrate it again. So it's a very easy way to find out if the wheel goes well. The wheel just needs to have the pedals behave in the same way when you go to the left, to the right. If it's different, the left to the right, then it means you need to calibrate it again. And sometimes it does take 2 or 3 times. That's something I do as well. So here you have sleep mode. This is essentially transportation mode. You just press OK until you see 9, and then you'll go into transport mode if you want to ship the wheel or just even leave it at a bike rack or something, because then you can't turn it on unless you know that you need to press the button for a long time. So then this is miles per hour or kilometers an hour. This is your units. Then we have the voltage adjustment. Now you can actually calibrate what the voltage on the screen shows because they're not always well calibrated. So what you want to do then is you get the top plate off and you measure the voltage of the battery, and then you adjust the parameter on the screen so it matches what the battery voltage is. It just really shows you how basic the software is, and yeah, I mean it should be correct out of the box, right? It is what it is. This is low power mode, so if you want to go just an extra mile, you can turn it on, and then it will drain to a lower battery state. I would just leave it on a daily basis because you want to just have a longer battery lifespan. High speed mode allows you to go faster. Just enables field weakening, which allows you to go just faster. It's very basic. I just leave it on. And then you have the angle adjustment. And this setting, again, much easier to set up on the app. So then you can set it up to 70 degrees. You can also just do it here, which is much easier. Oh wait, full protection angle. So if you go to a pump track, keep it at 70 degrees. But in regular city use, I would not ever put it over 60. And if you're just a casual rider, keep it between 45 and 50. Because the wheel does really weird shit if you fall at a slow speed and you lean the wheel too much. So if you go off-roading, but high speed off-roading, then keep it at 70 and you do many berms. But even your usual off-roading that you do, I would keep it 55 max or 60. And if you go in a city, just never have it at 70. Very important. It's 45, whatever. So then let's go back to the screen. Then we have button volume. Just mash it if you want to have it louder, or you can keep it at, oh my god, so loud. Shut up. Keep it at 2 or 4. If you just go to like restaurants and you don't want to have a very loud beep when you turn the wheel on. And then we're back to the sort of pedal stiffness. There's also an additional setting in the Pattern and in the Sherman S, maybe also Sherman Max, but I'm not sure if it's available with the update that is out right now, where there is a over voltage alarm. So it tells you essentially where it will beep when you have too much voltage in your battery. So you can set it up to the maximum voltage or even higher or a bit lower, but not sure if that's still in those wheels. In the Lynx, I don't have it. So now I'll show you how the advanced menu looks like. You just press it, the OK button, and then keep pressing it. This is advanced. Again, voltage readout. And then there's a lot of parameters I actually don't know. Like there's just a lot of gibberish I don't understand. But there's one setting essentially which is very important, especially to the wheels that don't have a smart BMS. So here, that's the left battery, and it means it's connected and it's all right. And it has the same voltage as the right battery. So if those parameters are not 111 on both, it means that one of your battery has either a dead cell or is not properly charging. So that's essentially all of the parameters I have here. It's not really that relevant on the Lynx because it has a smart BMS. But on the older wheels, it's very important, especially if there's some sort of trouble with charging or range, or pedals will go up when you're riding. And that's basically it when it comes to the advanced setting. So now I'll quickly guide you through the app here. This is the main screen of the app. This shows you how many amps you're drawing. This is the temperature of the motherboard. And I believe here is also the speed when you go fast. I don't ever look at it when I'm riding really, but it's at 100%. You can press the alarm, which is sort of the bell, I would say. You can turn on the light, reset the trip odometer, and then turn the wheel off. Very, very basic app. If you want to use something more advanced, get Darkness Bot. This is for iOS, or EUC World. These apps have so many functions, they deserve their own video. I actually made one about EUC World already a while back. So then if you swipe to the right, you have a bunch of parameters like the current capacity, the mileage, it's a trip odometer actually. Then you have the parameters you have set, the tilt back of the over sort of speeding. I don't even know what sleep means. It's just, I guess that's how many seconds it will stay on until it turns off. Really useful to have that in seconds, like 2,600 seconds, really simple. Then the current, that's currently being drawn, or charging will be actually on a different menu. Then the temperature again, motor phase current, how many amps the motor is drawing. I guess that's the battery current then. Max speed of current riding when the app was connected, how long it is on, if it's charging or not, total mileage, and then the alarm for overspeeding, power draw in watts, essentially all the parameters you can see also on the screen of the wheel. Maximum current you had, and the maximum speed recorded, and that's free spin. And then the total riding time or usage time of the wheel, 120 hours. And that's it. And then to the right, we can see our smart BMS. And this is only available on the Lynx. So here you can see the left battery and what its voltage is currently, and power draw, very small because just the screen is on essentially, and the taillights. Even if I turn on the front light, boom, the power draw should go up. It is not. Oh yeah, it is going up. Okay, so I'll turn off the light again. So you have the temperatures on the battery here. Everything below like 40, 50 degrees should be fine. But there's, I believe, also an alarm for that. And then here you can see the individual voltages of all of the cell series. So the difference between them shouldn't be over 0.15. And if it's already at 0.15, like delta between the max and the minimum, then it's cause for concern. But anything really like a 0.05 volt difference or 0.1 volt difference is not a cause for concern. And then you have also the right battery. Now, if we go into the settings here, you can check your device info, very basic, which software you're on, You can check the language, you can switch the units, you can check the riding mode, I already showed you that, horizontal pedal adjustment, overspeed alarm, fall protection angle. You can update the firmware, very important here, 2 things to note. Number 1, it needs to be tilted, so now we could upgrade, but I would also recommend only updating if you're at home or if you have your charger with you, and not at a full battery state. Why? Well, it might get into transport mode. That's what happened to me once with the Pattern. And sometimes they can also brick. Now, I don't know what is cause for that, and it is a warranty case. So yeah, just so you know, it's good to update the software because there's a lot of, you know, improvement every time there's a new software release, but only do it at not a full charge, when the wheel is tilted, and when you're at home. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And also, of course, don't turn off the app while you're doing it. Then you can also download the log and the log files, and you can disconnect the device. So really, quite a bit of functionality now at Veteran wheels. And they used to have a very, very basic and terrible app back in the day, but now it's at least something. And I guess they have their styling very much inspired by Windows phones. Now, as promised, let's also go through the suspension settings here. And essentially what you need to adjust all of the settings is a 18mm socket wrench. This is for the preload. And a flathead screwdriver, which is for compression and rebound. So the blue one is compression, and there's many clicks that you can turn here. Boom. And the harder the compression, the more stiff the wheel will be. Harder compression is better for jumps and riding on racetracks. And the more softer it is, the more smoother the ride will be. So if you want to have a smooth ride, just keep it at soft compression. If you want to have a more stiff and sporty ride, keep it at hard compression. Keep in mind that all of the bumps will feel a lot less comfortable if you have the compression on hard. Yeah, so all the way to the right is hard compression. So when it comes to the rebound, you can set it to either fast or slow. And this is the setting how quickly the wheel goes back up to its highest sort of position when you're riding. So when you set it to fast, which is all the way to the right, is it to the right? No, it's all the way to the left. So if you go all the way to the left, the suspension will go back up really quickly. It will feel more like a trampoline, it will be bouncy. I would say this setting is the best for off-road riding and comfort. And if you set up the rebound to slow, then the wheel will feel a bit more planted. It will be also tougher to jump it. So yeah, if you want to have the rebound on extremely slow, I guess that's best for racing and just a sort of stiffer ride, more planted ride, not as bouncy. And the third setting you can set up is the preload. So then you can see there's a 18mm head here. And if I take it out, then you can see that this head is sort of rising up. So all the way up means there is like no preload at all. And if you feel like the wheel is bottoming out too easily or the pedals are too down low for your weight, then you just screw this in, like I have. And then the suspension will be stiffer, and I guess more preload is best for jumps and also like heavy off-roading. Then you have always the pedals higher because the spring is already preloaded. So if you step on it, it won't sag so much. The wheel will be in a higher position. So I have the 62-pound shock, depending on your weight, get the 66 or 70. I really wanted to actually change mine for the 70 for the jumps, but even with the 62, it doesn't bottom out all that much. So for lighter riders, get the 62. For heavier riders, 66 or 70. Very cool that there's so much sort of settings on this wheel, but it's not as easily accessible if you don't have a tool. If you want to maintain the shock, check out 2 Cells 1 Packs video on that. Really good explanation by Albert how to maintain the shock. Now when it comes to the tire, actually the tire says that the max pressure is 32 psi. I typically ride higher pressure though, especially for jumps, curbs. I try to keep it at 40, maybe even 45 at times. but I wouldn't go ever below 32 if you want to keep your rim safe. And 35, I would say, is like a good sweet spot. 35 to like 38 PSI. So yeah, not really that much to the tire, but I thought you would appreciate this info. And by the way, if you noticed that you certainly did notice that my wheel looks different. It has NyloNove pedals. They're available in the link below at Market. There's also a code, wrongway, for discount. And I have Kinetic pads, also available there. Discount applies, and I'm working on my own pads. And here we have the bumpers, and it's actually a whole kit, but I didn't install it yet, also by NyloNove. So feel free to check it out in the link in the description. And all of many accessories for EUCs are available at my webpage, Wrongway Info. I mean the links to them at least. So here in the front I also have a special light that is not blinding by MrMayart. So that is that. And yeah, also have a seat. Good stuff. All right, so this concludes my veteran setup guide. If you liked it, then leave a like on the video. Comment if you want to comment anything about it. I have to do it. I have to do it because it's a YouTube video, I guess. Anyway, see you in the next video. Free Palestine. Have a good day.